How is everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero, and this is 631-pound woman paid by men to eat and then squish them. Now, judging by the title, man, my curiosity is beyond overloaded, you know? I'm just really fascinated, one, how you get that big to begin with, and two, how men pay you to eat and then you squish them. I guess it's a fetish, so this kind of intertwines with my strange addiction and also, I guess, just my strange addiction, you know? I was gonna talk about like a fetish thing, but I recall it was my strange addiction, so I'm really curious to see what's going on, so without any further ado, here's 631-pound woman paid by men to eat and then squish them. Oh, man.
When I wake up in the morning, I know I made it through another night.
Well, just the
the
bare
pain
minimum.
remind me that I'm still alive.
Oh, no.
Getting out of bed for me is very painful. From my back to my legs, it's just pain that I can't even describe.
I can't even imagine, man. Like, obviously, look at me, you know, I literally cannot comprehend that pain, but I literally can't imagine it, man. It's just literally waking up is just an extension of just, I guess, just all the pain and suffering that you, in all honesty, put yourself through. You know, it's kind of your fault at the end of the day, but I know it could go to like your eating is an addiction and stuff. I understand that, you know, don't get me wrong, but the fact that like you're just struggling to survive, like she said, just getting up in the middle of the morning is a constant reminder because she has all this pain and stuff. It's just, it's crazy, man.
And every day it gets harder to move and harder to breathe.
It just keeps getting worse.
Just even take a shower because I know I gotta stand up and walk, and it's just hard. I can't stand up for over 5 minutes. I break out into a sweat and my lower back feels like there's a hot knife sticking me.
Ow.
Every step is painful.
I mean, in all honesty, man, I could imagine, because it's just, how much weight, extra weight are you gathering just to walk? But A, for effort, man, I gotta give her like mad props that she's actually walking to begin with. I know a lot of these people on my 600-pound life, you know, I used to watch it with my Nana when she was alive, you know, it's kind of my guilty pleasure, but like most of them are bedridden at times. So I'm giving her like all the credit here for actually getting up and walking. I'm assuming taking a shower by herself and stuff. Half the people don't even do that.
And I'm scared. I'm always scared that I'm gonna fall.
So that's another danger.
But I have to do it because being a bigger person, you always worry about your hygiene.
I don't want to see that. Thank you.
I feel like I'm a prisoner in my own body.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not really living, I'm just existing. But I never thought I'd be like this.
Give me the very sad backstory.
All my life, I felt like I was the outcast in the family because, you know, I had a different father than my brothers and sisters.
Oh.
My mom had an affair with her best friend's husband.
Oh.
And I became a product of that affair. I think she was embarrassed and ashamed of what she had done. And she took all that out on me. I never felt like my mom loved me. Even to this day, I'm 53 years old, and I can't recall a time of ever feeling like my mom ever loved me.
Oh my God, this is getting like, we were already on the level of sadness, but this is getting like so unbearably sad. I feel so bad for her, one, because of the, like she said, she's just constantly living in pain, and two, the freaking dramatic backstory that she had to go through. Like, she's the, I guess, bastard child, you know, lack of a better word, but man, that sucks how like you go through her life. I forgot how old she says she was now, but you don't recall a time where your mom actually loved you, man. That's very depressing, and I understand you go to food to get that comfort, you know, that trying to fill the hole that's literally not there because of your mother's love. Like, I'm just assuming stuff at this point, but dude, God, everything about this is just getting sad.
When I was 5, my grandmother saw how unhappy I was, and she would try to use food to comfort me.
Oh.
One of my best memories as a kid
I was gonna say grandma for the win.
Grandma. When we would go to bed at night, we would lay in bed and read and eat ginger snaps.
Oh.
It was one of the few things that made me happy. But things went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And when I was 9, my stepdad started molesting me.
Oh my God, why does this keep getting worse? I feel so terrible for Renee, man. Oh my God. I was gonna comment about like the grandma like joking like, oh, the grandmas love to fatten you up and stuff every time you go to visit, but then she had to freaking throw that in there, the molestation. That, God, can this get any worse, man? I really hope there's a happy ending, but I'm starting to think there's not one, man.
My mom knew everything that was going on.
Wow.
There was times when I would see her and she was watching, so I know she knew. But she didn't care enough to stop it. I guess she just didn't care enough about me.
Oh, don't say that.
And it hurt.
That's probably
me
true,
as a
but
child when I felt like my mom wouldn't protect me.
oh my God.
I had nobody to talk to, nowhere to turn. So I turned to food to escape the pain.
I completely understand.
Weight. By the time I was 11, I weighed almost 200 pounds.
God,
all the kids would laugh and tease at me because, you know, I was the biggest one. They always picked on me.
Okay, now I could say that people are mean. You know, I kind of assumed that she was getting picked on with the family because she was the bastard child, you know? But the fact that, like, obviously kids are going to make fun of things that are different, and obviously being an obese person, they're going to tend to make fun of that person, and that's very, very sad. It's kind of like the endless cycle that you use food to comfort yourself, but then because you use an overextension of food, you get overweight, and then people make fun of you, and then it's just a constant cycle of you have to eat to be happy again, and it's just, man, this is such a depressing story.
School was terrible, but being at home was a nightmare.
God, not happy
because
anywhere.
The molestation didn't stop until I was 14, when my stepdad left my mom. And by that time,
blessing in disguise.
My weight was up to 280 pounds.
Ah, dude, when you're 14?
I loved my size then. Because I was curvy, I started getting a lot of attention from boys. And when I was 15, I
diamond in the rough,
out
I guess,
that
a happy
I was
ending
with my first child. So I ended up dropping out of high school to have my daughter.
Oh my God, I'm sorry if I'm pausing too much, but every time I'm just like, oh, well, there's some positivity. It's not the best type of positive outcome, but it's still there, you know? It's like, oh, I'm curvy for the boys, but then you become pregnant and then you drop out of high school to take care of your child. Like, that's a good mom, you know? You're already way better than your mother, but the fact that you have to drop out of high school because of that, man, it's just an added weight of just suffering, man. And I just, every single time she opens her mouth, I feel so terrible for her. It's just constantly building up, man.
I was weighing like over 300 pounds, and the doctor said that I was grossly obese. But I didn't let it affect me because I blamed it on being pregnant.
Oh, look at the happy baby.
After our daughter was born, her father and I got married.
That's good, right?
Good for a while. But after I had our second child, he started abusing me.
Oh my God!
It was awful. I mean, there was times when I had black eyes and busted lips. And one time he broke my nose so severely that I had to have an operation on it.
Has this woman had a single happy day besides her grandma overfeeding her? Man, I understand why she goes to food now, man. I kind of hinted at that at the very beginning, but now it's kind of like concrete, set in stone, you know? That's literally her only happiness is food, and I cannot get over it. It's just, like I stated before, man, it's every single hurdle she goes through is just another freaking depressive, just not even tiny little thing. It's like a tsunami of depression that overhits her, man, and oh my God.
Things was very hard for my family growing up. You never want to see your mom being hurt, so.
Oh, is that the daughter?
You get used to it, but it's never okay.
That's a terrible thing to get used to.
Being abused, but I think I was sort of kind of used to being abused because of everything that I've been through in my childhood.
Oh my God.
I dealt with the abuse the same way I did when I was a kid, with food.
I was about to say.
And my weight kept going up. By the time I was in my mid-20s, I was almost 400 pounds. Finally, me and my husband got divorced.
Good?
I had 4 children by my first husband. After that, I had 2 more boyfriends, and I had a child by each one.
Oh my.
And the more I had children, the higher my weight got.
Dude, I know you could kind of argue that like she's using children as another form of like happiness, you know, you get that unconditional love with a child, but what was it, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 children already, and that's crazy. I'm assuming it's past mid-20s like she stated, but dude, I cannot get over her story. This is more depressing than I have seen in any other My 600-Pound Life. I've seen episodes where like people died and stuff, and that is very sad, but she hasn't even gone through like the weight loss. I don't even think we're gonna get to the weight loss surgery or Dr. Now or any of the normal stuff, you know? It's just her backstory in itself is just depressing as all hell.
By the time I was pregnant with my 6th child, I was over 400 pounds. I worked whatever jobs I could to support my family.
Yeah.
Most of the jobs I could find were in factories, and that was difficult, being as big as I was.
Yeah, you could barely walk, man. Well,
it
now
was
she could barely
all that I
walk.
could do to get the job done so that I could provide for them.
When I was young, she worked hard. She made sure we ate, had clothes, went to school. She was a devoted mother.
I was eating fast food all the time, and by the time I was in my mid-30s, I weighed over 450 pounds.
Dude, I mean, I was gonna comment about like her being the good mother, you know, making sure that her children are satisfied, are like everything that they need, they are like good with, you know, because her relationship with her mother was terrible. It's kind of like that cycle that you're trying to break whenever you're in like a very bad parent child relationship, you know. You try, when you do have a child of your own, you try to break that cycle. I mean, I'm assuming, you know, if you're a good person, you try to break that cycle, and her being there for her children, man, like I love that so much, man, but it keeps going back to, or I keep going back to, mind you, the fact that her life is just a living hell, man, and for her to like shine light trying to satisfy her children, that's I guess a blessing, lack of a better word, you know, like she is there for her children, and I respect that so much, but I also feel terrible that she's suffering, you know?
And then I got injured in a car accident while I was working in the sewing factory.
Oh my God.
And it ended up injuring my back so bad that I couldn't really sit up. So there went that job. I needed a way to make money, and that's when I discovered the internet.
Bad stuff. Oh,
Not only
internet?
did I find out that there was men out there that like big women,
oh,
but there was also men out there that love to watch women eat. They're called feeders. In the feederism world, the feeder is the person that provides the food. A feedee is somebody that would eat the food.
Oh. Dude, that is terrible. That's not something, I know I joked about how like grandmas love to fatten you up and stuff like that, but this is a entirely different level. Like this has to be a form of abuse, isn't it? Like you're just letting them like get fatter and fatter, and you're just watching they're providing the food for them, just like, good, get fat. Like that's so unhealthy, man. You have to understand that's making the person suffer. Like just because in your weird mental state that is a form of attractiveness, I guess. Like I'm just assuming at this point, you know, like I'm pretty sure this is the first time hearing what feeders and stuff like that. That's kind of weird on my end, I'm not gonna lie, but like you gotta understand that you're making them suffer, man. If you truly love them, then stop, you know.
So they would pay me to eat while they watched online. And as a single mom, I found a way to feed my children and keep a roof over my kids' head.
Yeah, try to get that money.
And feeding led me to discover squashing. Squashing is something where somebody pays you to sit on them. They would want someone to sit on them because that was their way of losing control. But for me, it meant I could support my family. And when I was in feeding and squashing, at first it was all fun and games because I was getting paid to do what I love best, eating good food. But my weight just got more and more out of control.
I can imagine, man. I know, like, there's countless stories of younger women that get pregnant right out of high school, or in her case, during high school, and you have to find the means to provide for your family, or in this case, like you and your child, you know, especially if the father figure is gone. And I understand that struggle, man. And like she said during it, you know, like, it was all fun and games at the beginning, like, oh, I'm getting paid to do what I love. But you gotta understand, that's like the slipperiest slope ever, man. Like, I honestly don't know. I'm torn between, like, is prostitution worse or is this worse? Because in a way, you're kind of like just auctioning off your body. In her case, it's auctioning off her health, you know, like she's getting bigger and bigger, and obviously health problems are going to arise. You're going to get like high cholesterol. You're going to get like she was saying, it's just hurts just to function, just to exist. And God, I feel so terrible for her. It just keeps building, man. I've never felt this bad before with somebody that I don't know.
And by the time I was 45, I was over 500 pounds.
Good God.
My health started to fall apart. I was living alone, but I started losing my balance and falling.
Oh,
and
that's
I would
terrible.
Have to call EMTs to help me come and get up off the floor. And I realized that my body had gotten so big and I was unable to take care of myself.
Oh, you
so
poor thing.
50s,
How many times have I said that?
With my 2 oldest children to help take care of me.
No, don't end. Oh, TLC, I hate you so freaking much. Oh my God. But I guess, like, it did do what the title suggested, you know, it went through all the things that it was gonna talk about, I guess. But man, I feel so bad for her. I really hope there was a conclusion or something. I'm gonna have to track down this episode or something just in my free time to see if she's okay now. I legitimately, like, my heart shatters for her, man. Like, not only did she go through such a terrible life that I don't know how many freaking things she went through and survived, mind you, but still, it's just like she's knocking on heaven's door every single time she wakes up because her, like, weight, man, her health, everything just coexisting in this just like bubble of just abuse, man. It's just, I feel so terrible, and I do feel kind of good for her that, like, she moved in with her 2 other, I'm assuming daughters, the daughters that were talking during this, but I'm so glad that she has that, like, she gave them love, so they give love in return, you know? It's what was absent with her actual mother, you know, during the years, and I feel like that she needs love, man. She needs just compassion for people to truly care for her, and hopefully she's getting that with her daughters, but it seems like, what, she stopped the story time with 500 pounds, or 400 pounds, so she's already 631, you know, so it's getting worse, and I feel bad that, like, yeah, her daughters are there, but they're probably like feeding her as well, you know, which is like, obviously you want to make your mom happy, so I'm assuming they just like do it to make her happy because that's what she loves is food, and it just cycles back to that, man. It's just like you have like so much just like depression and just you hate living and stuff, and food is the only thing there that like makes you feel some sort of happiness, so you're gonna go to food at times. And obviously this is just not from experience or anything, I mean, look at me, you know, but I understand, man. Like, I feel that compassion with these people because I don't want to watch these to make fun of them at all. I don't think I cracked a single joke during this reaction, you know, but I feel so bad for them, and like I said during it, this might be like the saddest one I ever witnessed, man. This was just like borderline, it was just sad thing after sad thing that could possibly happen to her just constantly over and over again, and I really do hope she gets the love and compassion that she truly needs with her daughters, dude. I guess that's like the light at the end of the tunnel, lack of a better word, you know? Like, I really hope she gets help, man. So thank everybody so much for watching. Leave a like down below, subscribe, ring the bell, become a member. You get videos a day early, and check out the merch. So that said, I have been Master Zero. Y'all guys have been fantastic, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Later days.